Have you ever found yourself frustrated trying to open a new terminal in Visual Studio Code, only to be stuck with the default shell? If that's you, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to explore how to open a new terminal that isn't just the default one. I totally get it. Switching between different shells can be a hassle, especially when you want to run something like a PHP or Python interpreter without the default shell getting in the way. You're definitely not alone in feeling this way. Here's the specific question we're addressing today. One user asked how to launch a new shell in the integrated terminal of Visual Studio Code without it being the default shell. They want to avoid running commands on top of the default shell, which can be quite annoying. Sound familiar? Let's dive into this together. So, what's the issue here? The default terminal in Visual Studio Code is convenient, but it can limit your workflow when you need to use different shells for different tasks. Understanding how to manage multiple terminals effectively can really enhance your productivity. And stick around. I have a fantastic tip at the end that will make managing your terminals even easier. You won't want to miss it. To open a new terminal with a different shell in Visual Studio Code, the user can start by accessing the command palette. This can be done by pressing Ctrl plus Shift plus P on Windows or Command plus Shift plus P on Mac. Next, the user should type Terminal, Create New Integrated Terminal in the command palette. This will allow them to create a new terminal instance. Now the user can specify the shell they want to use. To do this, they can click on the drop-down arrow next to the plus icon in the terminal panel and select Default Shell. If the user wants to run a specific interpreter like Python or PHP in REPL mode, they can directly type the command for that interpreter in the new terminal. For example, typing Python will start the Python REPL. Finally, the user can close the new terminal without affecting the default shell. This can be done by clicking the trash can icon in the terminal panel. Fun fact: did you know that the first command line interface was developed in the 1960s? It's amazing how far we've come in making coding more accessible. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. One alternative approach is to create a task that runs the command you want in a new terminal. For example, you can set up a task to run Python. First, you'll need to create a tasks.json file with the task name and command. Then, add a key binding in keybindings.json to run this task. Now, whenever you press the configured key binding, a new terminal will open running Python, separate from your default shell. Here's the tip I promised. You can customize your terminal profiles in Visual Studio Code. This allows you to set up different shells and commands that you use frequently, making it super easy to switch between them. And there you have it. You can now open a new terminal in Visual Studio Code without being limited to the default shell. Remember, experimenting with different shells can really enhance your coding experience. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips and tricks.